To those cheating the workers' compensation insurance, WorkCover, as it is called in most states, go to hell. Well, I'm not sure, but in November 2025, a worker was convicted of fraud when surveillance found him working as a painting contractor, despite being on workers' compensation benefits since 2020. Later investigation found that he had been working for two Melbourneian businesses since 2021. That's one fraud lasting 4 years. Now, to keep your benefits going, the official certificates of capacity are required to be obtained and produced from a medical practitioner, which of course he did, each stating him of no capacity to work and him falsely declaring too that he had not worked between times of any two certs. To this end, he also misled medical examiners and rehabilitation providers. With conviction, he was sentenced to a 15-month community corrections order, including 175 hours of unpaid community work. He was also ordered to pay nearly $115,000 in restitution, the total amount that he had extorted. The court stated that had it not been for his guilty plea, he would have also received a 4-month imprisonment. This, by the way, is one of several such prosecutions last year alone. In another case, the court convicted the offender, placed him on community corrections order for 18 months, requiring him to perform 240 hours of unpaid community work and pay the restitution amount of $126,000. Each year, hundreds of such prosecutions are carried out Australia-wide, resulting in not just fines and criminal convictions, but sentences of imprisonment as well. Greed is the obvious motivator in these cases, but it isn't just that. In equal part, it's ignorance. You have to remember, regulators have the legal mandate, a will, and the means to investigate the veracity of any such compensation claim. One of those means is the use of licensed private investigators carrying out surveillances of all sorts. This, of course, is one of the many tools regulators have in their arsenal to catch these frauds, picking which in effect is everyone's pocket. And on that note, a part of the problem could be the lack of understanding that it is picking everyone's pocket. Or, in other words, lack of comprehending how workers' compensation actually works. Say there is an employer, a manufacturing company that makes breakfast cereals. 100 or so employees have their livelihood and well-being associated with this workplace. Like all employers, this employer too must obtain workers' compensation or WorkCover insurance for in case an employee is injured needing rehabilitation. Since it is an insurance, a certain insurance premium will have to be paid annually. This premium each employer pays goes into a collective. An injured worker of any employer draws from this pool, a commonwealth, so to speak, towards their rehabilitation and return to work. The value of this premium, quite naturally, is a derivative of the company's respective circumstances. Roughly the wages the employer pays, the specific industry premium rate, manufacturing in this case, and a loading for the company's individual performance in regards to injuries and injuries management. Roughly something like this. This amount could and does range from a few $100s to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending upon the company's portfolio. To an employer, this is the cost of doing business, which of course drives what everyone pays at the counter. Well, fair enough, if this very useful institution is used as it is meant to assist anyone within the community to get back on their feet, return to work, and mitigate the human costs involved with injuries and incidents. But to think that someone ends up stealing from it, either to get comfortable or to get rich, drawing from it while running around earning from other jobs, as I'm sure you would agree is an outrage. Here is what to do. If you're an employer, organize to get your employees educated into how WorkCover insurance works, including the potential consequences they may face from the regulator in case of non-compliance or any fraudulent declarations or activity. If you are on workers' compensation, you must play your part in getting fit and back to work. Do not underestimate the consequences of a breach, even committed inadvertently. If a mate asks you to give them a hand with something, painting, cleaning, shifting or whatever, to which you do not have medical capacity to, just say no. If you're an injured person, it is in your best interest that you return to work as soon as possible, even if it's partial work. Research has shown that the longer an injured person takes to return to work, the more difficult it becomes for them to be able to do so. One potential reason for that is that if no routine work becomes your comfort zone, you will have an elevated sense of pain and incapacity, a mimicking trick that the brain plays to resist change even if you're with the best of the intentions. This, of course, not just affects your work and career, but also your personal life as well. It's understandable that for many people, the matter carries a substantial emotional and psychological baggage. But it's important that we assess and process the subject as objectively and rationally as possible. More often than not, you will find that for this concern, the best case scenario is the one which is least bad. On the basis that multiple cases of individuals committing workers' compensation frauds are presented before courts each year, most of which, if not all, end up finding the accused guilty of having committed a crime, it must be said that such an eventuality for such an individual will create a lasting hardship in finding suitable employment in future, and several other professional and private concerns. The data and information of these cases too are made available in the public domain. So to anyone out there not entirely truthful of their injury or incapacity, and the judicial record seems to suggest that there are some, it's best really to reconsider your priorities. Send your questions, like, comment, and join the Planet Safety Initiative. Subscribe for more.